What's up everyone, my name is Gary, welcome back to the vlog. I had a fantastic summer, it was a great time in America, but we're back in London. The GUKPT is going on right now at the Victoria Casino in London, and I want to check it out. I hear they've got a new room, they put some money into it, they've refurbished it, and I'm really excited to play tonight. So let's not mess around, let's jump into the Vic in London, my old stomping ground. After a long summer, it's time to come home. Let's play some cards in London. Alright guys, in we go to the Victoria Casino in West London. It's just had a £15 million facelift and it's looking absolutely beautiful. I'm really happy to be home as I head across to the table. Buying in here for £1,500. And the service is so good that they're actually giving the table a quick hoover before we start. Just remembered 50% of my viewers are American. They're vacuuming the table. My apologies. Starting the game three-handed here. The way it works in London is we've got a long list of players that want to play, but they're reluctant to move across from their 1-3s and their 2-5s until the game actually starts. So three brave souls are gonna get the game started here three-handed. First hand of note, I pick up ace-10 offsuit in the small blind. I raise it on up to £30. The big blind is a local pro, plays all the tournaments, all the cash games, plays very well. He's very laggy, and he is going to re-raise here. He makes it £100 to go. My hand is going to want to call sometimes. It's going to want to 4-bet sometimes. And I decide this time to put in the 4-bet. I make it £260 to go here. And this loose, aggressive pro in the big blind is going to call my 4-bet. We're going heads up to the flop. And it comes down 8-5-3 with two clubs. Not really what I was looking for with ace high here. So I check it on over to my opponent. He is just going to check it on back. Turn is a deuce, and I don't really see the point in betting here. We're not making better fold. We're not getting called by worse. So I check again. Happy to see my opponent just check again. River is an offsuit queen. And I do think about maybe turning my hand into a bluff here, repping a hand like ace queen or king queen, but ultimately I decide to check it on over to my opponent. He bets out for £190. I think a lot of his bluffs here are going to start bluffing on the flop or the turn. Even a loose aggressive player like this is going to struggle to find bluffs in this line. So I do decide not to hero call the river here. I just let it go. Stuck £260 after the very first hand, but after a long nap during the day today, it's 7:45 p.m. and I've got a big ass coffee ready for a long grind ahead. Maybe a touch of jet lag here as I'm drinking coffee at 8 p.m. Also topping up my stack because a couple of players have joined the game and I definitely want to have these guys covered. So I top up my stack to £2,000. I've had my coffee, I'm deep stacked, I'm ready to battle. Let's get this game going properly now. Next up, I've got ace-5 suited on the button. Early position has raised it on up to £25 and I've got a nice re-raise hand, so I make it £80 to go. And he is going to make the call here. We're going to go heads up to the flop. It comes down king, queen, 8 with two hearts. Not a great flop for my hand, but a really good flop for my range. So I bet out for £60. And after a few seconds, my opponent makes the call. Turn is an interesting one. It's an offsuit 8. My opponent checks to me again, and I think this is a nice candidate to bet, you know. A hand like Jack-10 would be nice for the equity, but a hand like Ace-5, I've got an overcard to the board. I have really good unblockers, making hands like 9s, 10s, and Jacks fold, so I decide to bet again here. I bet out for £230. Action is back on my opponent. He's thinking over his options, and eventually he makes the call. River's the 4 of hearts. Front door flush completes. My opponent checks it on over to me again, and I don't think we want to bluff here with ace-5 of spades. A hand like ace-jack or ace-10 with a heart is going to be preferred, so I wave the white flag. We've actually got the last aggressor rule here in the Victoria Casino, which I absolutely love. It means the person who bet on the last street has got to show their cards first if it goes check-check. So I've got to turn my hand over first here. My opponent's got king-10 of spades. I didn't think my ace-5 was ahead, but yeah, got to show first when you're the last aggressor. I think that's a really good rule, to be honest. And just two hands later, we're back in the mix. I've got pocket 10s in the hijack. The low jack has raised it on up to £25. And again, I'm putting in the re-raise. I make it £80 to go. And again, my 3-bet is going to get called. No respect here in London. We go heads up to the flop. It comes down ace, 9, 6 rainbow. Don't love that ace, but my pocket 10s, I think they want to c-bet really often here. So I bet out for £60. And after a few seconds, my opponent makes the call. Turn is the jack of diamonds. My opponent checks it on over to me. Definitely don't want to put any money in here with pocket 10, so I just check it on back. We see an offsuit deuce roll off on the river. My opponent checks again. That's a bit of hope that I might have the best hand, but I check back. I'm the last aggressor, so I'm first to show. And my pocket 10s are no good, losing here to ace 8 of spades. Just can't seem to get anything going here, but I played the last couple of hands in quick succession. And I'm playing a third hand in as many minutes here. I pick up ace jack of spades. I raise it on up to £25 under the gun. Middle position is going to make the call. And we see the flop come down, ace, queen 10 with 2 diamonds. I decide to c-bet here. Middle position is proving himself to be a bit of a loose goose so far. I bet out for £25 and my opponent makes the call. Turn is the 3 of diamonds. Front door flush comes in. I check it on over to my opponent. He is just going to check it on back, and we see an offsuit 7 roll off on the river. Like I say, my opponent's been playing a lot of hands so far, so I think we've got a clear value bet. I bet out for £80. Fade the snap fold, fade the snap call. And after a few seconds, my opponent is going to make the call. I show my hand, and I finally win a hand. I've been at this casino for about an hour or so, and finally dragging in a pot. I'm stuck £1,470 so far. Really not been able to get much going. But this is the first of hopefully many pots that I am dragging in. Dinner has also arrived. I've gone for a cheese and ham omelette with a wee side salad. Love the food here at the Vic, and the post-Vegas cleanse is most definitely on. Had a really good time in Sin City, but the cleanse starts now. Back to the poker. I've got ace jack of clubs in the big blind. I've bought the button here, so I am small blind and big blind all in one. Under the gun is going to raise it on up to £30. I am for sure going to re-raise versus this player, but then the button puts in the re-raise. He makes it £120 to go. This would be close to a cold 4-bet sometimes, but given the button is a pro and he's going to be re-raising versus the non-pro quite wide, I decide to just always call 4-bet my hand here. So I make it £275 to go from the big blind. Original raiser gets out the way. That's 1 down. Action is back on the button. And yep, you guessed it. He moves all in for £1,800. I just snap fold. Quick side note, I'm not a fan of like tanking to like balance or whatever. I've been caught with my hand in the cookie jar. There's no point tank folding. I'm obviously not calling if I haven't called by now. So I just let my hand go. Next hand of note, I've got queen jack of diamonds on the button. Raise it on up to £30. Small blind is going to put in the re-raise. He makes it £120 to go. My hand definitely wants to call here, but then the big blind cold 4-bets. I've got such pretty hands, I'm just not able to see a flop with them. Obviously have to fold here versus this £360 cold 4-bet. And I'm feeling a little frustrated. Like I say, a lot of pretty hands. They're not doing the damage for me and letting me win big pots versus my opponents. But let's see if we can win a big one with this ace-queen offsuit in the big blind. Low jack is limped in for £10, and the cutoff puts in the raise. He makes it £50 to go. I, of course, call here at the big blind. I want to play with a limper, but then the limper limp raises. He makes it £300 to go. Cut off snap folds, and I'm not going to lie, guys, I'm a little frustrated here. I've got lots of these really good hands that I have to just fold before the flop. So I do flirt with the idea of making a call here. But in the end, I decide, you know what, this would be absolutely ridiculous, and I just let it go. Down £1,535. The game is great. Action is really good. And I'm going to pick up 2 monsters in very quick succession, picking up pocket aces and then pocket kings within just a few minutes of each other. Winning with the aces on the flop in a small pot, and just taking it down pre-flop with the kings. Big sigh here. Really anticlimactic. Picking up aces and kings in the space of 3 minutes, but then just taking them down in small pots. Let's try ace-king offsuit under the gun just 15 minutes later. I raise it on up to £25. Cutoff is going to make the call here, and then the small blind squeezes. He makes it £150 to go. Now, my hand mainly wants to 4-bet, but when I'm under the gun, we definitely want to do some calling here with ace-king offsuit. So I spin the RNG, and it actually lands on call. Cutoff is going to call as well here. And we're going to go 3 ways to 10-10-3 rainbow. Not really what I was looking for with ace-king. What's more, the small blind is going to bet out here for £200. That's almost a half pot size bet here. Not really the size we'd expect to see here on 10-10-3 rainbow. Factoring we've got the other guy behind, I sigh and make what feels like yet another disciplined fold here with my ace-king. Cutoff is going to make the call, and we see an ace on the turn. Small blind is going to bet out for £450. And the cutoff just lets it go. Really annoying to see that turn. If I had 4-bet myself, I probably would have got to see it. But like I say, I want to play well post-flop versus a guy I perceive to be playing very well so far. So we'll just never know what would have happened. Next up, I've got another really pretty starting hand in the form of queen jack of diamonds in the cutoff. I raise it on up to £25. Small blind is a European pro. He's going to make it £115 to go. Easy call here with my queen jack of diamonds. I make the call, and we flop top pair on queen 8-6 with 2 hearts. Small blind is going to c-bet here for £80, and after a few seconds, I of course make the call. Turn is a 7, and now the small blind checks it on over to me. Pretty close spot here. We can get value from hands like 9s, jacks, queen 10 suited, queen 9 suited, 9-8 suited, all these types of hands. So I decide to bet out here for £275. Action is on my opponent. After a few seconds, he's gonna make the call here. To the river we go. It's an offsuit 4. He checks it on over to me. And I think this would just be a bit too thin to bet. I think ace-queen is my threshold on the river, so I just check it back. Again, I'm last aggressor, so I show my hand. And he's got pocket aces. Really annoying to be behind here. Really interesting hand. This player goes by the name Sully Poker Online. There's a link to his Instagram in the description of this video. He put a poll up asking if he should shove the turn. My stack is actually much deeper than he thought in the poll, so I think check shoving on the turn would be a mistake at the actual stack depth. If we were at the stack depth that you can see on your screens right now, I think check shoving would be fine. But like I said, I was a little bit deeper. Give him a little follow if you're on Instagram. Also, give me a little follow. My name is GazzyB123. I am stuck 2.3k in this game. I don't think I've done much wrong. The game is really good. Just got to be patient and keep playing my game. Maybe this ace-queen offsuit will start to pave the way into profit. New player to the game is going to raise to 25. Fuck's sake. There's a new player to the game. He's raised to 25 pounds in middle position. Button is a very good local pro. He is going to make the call. And I put in the squeeze from the small blind. I make it 140 pounds to go. Middle position is going to get out the way, and the button is going to make the call. I've played a decent amount with this guy in this vlog, and every time he value bets the river, I call. Every time he bluffs, I fold. He windmills it. I can't seem to beat this guy, and what's more, I've missed on the flop. It comes down king 7-5 with 2 spades. Still, though, decent board for my range. I bet out for 110 pounds. Action is on my opponent, and he makes the call. Turn is an offsuit 9, and I decide to keep barreling here. I block king queen, and again, I've got good unblockers to the portion of my opponent's range that I'm trying to make fold by the river. So I bet out for 380 pounds, setting up for the river jam if I get called. Thankfully, my opponent is just gonna fold. This is finally a pot coming my way. I've been very frustrated all night. And again, still waiting for value. I had to absolutely blast my way out of this one, but thankfully able to take it down on the turn and not have to jam on the river. Adding on an extra 500 pounds to my stack here using a 1,000 pound chip to do so. This is a bit of a Willy Wonka themed chip, but I absolutely love the chips at the Vic here. Let me know in the comments if you think this is beautiful or disgusting or somewhere in between. It's nearly midnight, I'm stuck a couple of bags, but we're just grinding away, hoping to turn it round. What's more, the 25 straddle is on, so the number of big blinds that I'm down has suddenly got a lot smaller. That makes me feel really good. I pick up pocket 10s for this next hand in the hijack. Straddle is on here. I raise it on up to 60 pounds. Cutoff is going to make the call. Button is going to make the call. And then the small blind squeezes. He makes it 375 pounds to go. Cutoff and button are non-pro, so the small blind, who is a pro, should be squeezing wider in this spot. We're not super deep here, so I don't think we want to call and then potentially go 4 ways to the flop, and I definitely don't want to fold. With the straddle, we're 85 big blinds effective, so I decide to just 4-bet jam here. I move all in for around 2.1k. Cutoff gets out the way. Button gets out the way. Small blind does not snap, which is a good sign. He asks for a count. I push my chips into the middle. The dealer counts it out. He takes about 20 seconds, and then he makes the call. I immediately turn over my hand, and he's got pocket queens. Really didn't expect him to be as strong as that after he asked for a count and took a little bit of time. We're going to run it once here. I am going to need some help. No 10 on the flop. No 10 on the turn. And no 10 on the river. This means this 4.3k pot is going the way of the small blind, and I am officially buried. I am stuck 4.4k. This is so frustrating. I really don't think I've done that much wrong here so far tonight. Just can't seem to get much going. Next up, I pick up pocket 3s in the cutoff. I raise it on up to 60 pounds. Button is going to make the call. He is a very, very loose goose. Like I say, this game has been very good so far. We go heads up to the flop, and it comes down queen, 6 deuce, all hearts. I can see bet here for sure, but I decide to check it on over to my opponent. And he takes a stab for 50 pounds. Not going anywhere with the 3 hearts in my hand. I make the call. Turns another queen. I check it on over to my opponent. Happy to see him just check it on back. River is an offsuit 9, and I don't think there's value for me to be had, so I check it on over to my opponent, and he bets out now for 260 pounds. Now, I can only beat a bluff here, but his line doesn't make much sense. Also, he loves to bluff. He loves to blast it on in. So yeah, I flick in the call. He says, deuce, let's go. I turn over my pocket 3s. And this is one of the biggest pots I've won all night with a pair of 3s on a queen high board. This is just a sign of how much of a grind it's been so far. But maybe, just maybe, this is the turning point in this session. It could be about to get even better when I look down at pocket aces in the straddle. Under the gun is the loose goose player. He is going to raise it on up to £55. Local pro Bobby is going to make the call. He's a little bit drunk. He's also waiting for the 25, 50, 100 game that's just one table over. That'll be me one day. Button is going to make the call as well, and I put in the squeeze. I make it £375 to go out the straddle. Happy to see the loose goose call under the gun. I'm hoping Bobby back raises. Unfortunately, he makes the call. We're going to go 3 ways to the flop, and it's not the flop I wanted. It is Jack 10-7 with 2 diamonds. Really connected, really wet flop. And we're not doing super well versus 2 other players. So I check, as well as that under the gun. He loves to bluff. He's got about a pot-sized bet left behind. Unfortunately, he is going to check, and Bobby is going to check as well. Turn is a king, and I don't think Bobby's going to have much ace-queen, but the under the gun player could. So I check again. Again, it's just going to check all the way around on the turn. And we see a 3 roll off on the river. Guys and girls, we've come this far. Let's try and set the trap one last time. I'm about to check here, and as I'm doing so, I'm praying this doesn't blow up in my face. I check. Under the gun, snap jams. Let's go. Bobby gets out the way, and I snap call. Please don't have me beat. He says you're good. Let's go. I really committed to trapping this guy. He has finally taken the bait and shoved on the river. And my pocket aces are good, finally dragging in a nice pot here. My opponent actually had a couple of questionable things to say about my line. After I turned over the aces, he was like, oh, okay, check 3 times with aces, huh? And I was like, yeah, I thought you might have had me beat. And he was like, well, why did you snap the river? And I was like, don't know, sorry. Dragging in a really nice pot at last here. It feels so good to be able to do so. And now I'm only stuck 2.6k. There's a little bit of hope that we can get out the hole here. I've got another premium starting hand in the form of pocket queens just at a half an hour later. It folds round to me in the small blind, and I raise it on up to £75. Bobby is the only player to make the call. He calls out the big blind. Straddle gets out the way. We go heads up to the flop. It's King 10-7 with 2 hearts. Fairly connected. Definitely not a range bet, but I do decide to bet my pocket queens here. I bet out for £60, and after a few seconds, he makes the call. Turn is an offsuit ace, and I definitely don't want to bet again with queens here. I check it on over to my opponent. Could consider a check raise, but he is just going to check this one back. River is another 10. It's just getting worse and worse. I check it on over to my opponent. He bets out for £450. This is a pretty big bet. And I think we've got a good candidate for a check raise here. We block Queen Jack, we block some Queen 10, so I announce
2000.
It is so good to get the snap fold there. It really got my heart racing when I announced the raise there, but thankfully able to take it down. Let me know in the comments if you like my bluff here, if you think it's a misplay, but let me ask you this. If it is a misplay, what's a better candidate for a bluff? Moving on now, I've got King Queen offsuit in the small blind. Button is raising on up to £75. He's a fairly new player to the game. He's been looking pretty reggy so far. And I put in the re-raise. I make it £300 to go. Action is back on my opponent. After a few seconds, he makes the call. We're going to go heads up to the flop with about £650 in there. And it comes down ace, jack 7 with 2 spades. Decent flop for my hand. Decent flop for my range. I bet out for £200. And after a few seconds, my opponent makes the call. Looking for a bit of help on the turn. And there it is. It is an offsuit 10. 3 outs to give me the nuts, and I have banged one off. I've got the nut straight on the turn. It's very vulnerable, though. The nuts could change really easy on the river, so I want to get some money in there now. I bet out for £700 on the turn, setting up for the river jam if I get called. My opponent is going to go deep into the tank here. I've actually watched the footage back, and he tanks on the turn for 2 minutes and 18 seconds before he makes the call. At least he didn't fold. Shame he didn't go all in, but he is going to make the call here, looking for a clean river, and the 6 of diamonds is the cleanest river in the history of clean rivers. Let's go. I fake tank for a little while, and then move all in for 1.8k. This is so exciting. I've got the nuts. I've moved all in, and my opponent is deep in the tank. If my opponent makes the call here, I am out the hole for the night. I am praying that he makes the call. He's really thinking it over, and eventually he calls. Let's go. I turn over my nuts. Obviously, he can't beat it. Absolutely delighted to be dragging in this pot worth thousands and thousands of pounds. After I drag it in, I count it up, and we are in profit. £125 in profit. Absolutely delighted. It's been a game of two halves. Couldn't win anything in the first half of the session, and then nuts in the second half, and I am in profit for this session. About 20 minutes later, the game is going to go four-handed, and we decide to tap the table. We draw for last number of hands. We're going to play 3 more hands. And in the very last hand of the session, I announce out loud I need to not lose £125 to have a profitable session. And what's more, the button has blind raised. He's made it £50 to go on the button. No double straddle here in the Victoria Casino. What a great guy for doing that. Silly Poker has made it £150 to go in the small blind. And I have got a hand in a 2-blind game that we can for sure 3-bet. A6 offsuit, big blind versus small blind, definitely wants to 3-bet sometimes. I don't know about a 4-blind game, especially when the blind 50 is on the button. It's a bit of a weird dynamic, but I'm playing the rush here, guys and girls. I decide to re-raise. I make it £450 to go. This is probably going to look extra strong because I've announced to the table I just need to not lose £125 to book a winning session. Action is back on the small blind. He doesn't look like he wants to fold here, and sure enough, he is going to make the call. I have worked so hard to get out the hole for the night. What am I doing getting myself into this crazy spot right at the end in the very last hand? We'll go heads up to the flop. It comes down King 9-7 with 2 hearts. I have got the Ace of Hearts. This is a good board for my range. This could blow up in my face in a big way. It feels like I'm going to bet the flop, and if a heart comes, I'm just going to barrel it off for like a £10,000 pot or something like that. But still, got a C-bet here. I bet out for £300. Action is back on my opponent. Thank God. He picks up his cards. He folds it face up. He's got ace, queen of clubs. It's the very last hand. I windmill it across the table, and he looks unbelievably offended. Like I say, 2-blind game. We can definitely 3-bet this. Not sure about these specific dynamics, but it ain't spew if it gets through. Really brilliant game tonight. Like I said, a bit of a struggle, but I enjoyed battling back, and I'm so happy that I managed to complete the Restucco, racking up here and heading to the cashier, booking a nice win after being stuck nearly £5,000 at one point. Absolutely delighted. All right, troops, greetings from the south of Italy, where I will be based for the next couple of months. Kind of a little different, but a lot of fun, very exciting. As for the session itself, I was really sad right in the middle of it, and I mean just like rock bottom, just this levels of sad. Fortunately, was able to climb out of the hole, set the trap with the aces. My opponent finally walked into it, got that crazy bluff through with the queens, and then banged off that 10 of clubs on the turn to get out of the hole. Nearly screwed myself at the end with the ace-6, but was able to take it down. So yeah, that's going to do it for this episode. A lot of fun. Big Restucco, managed to get out of the hole, turned that sadness into happiness, and managed to book a small win. My name is Gary Blackwood. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.